You're live, but I'm feeling dead. This is the Aaron Zero Show. Time to get ahead. Another edition of today's noise. And what do we have today? Well, we have the 39th or 40th day of the Iran war. And apparently, Mr. Trump has had a change of heart and he has ordered a 2 week ceasefire with the Iranian government so that the Strait of Hormuz will be open. Otherwise, of course, he'll be ready with the bombs. And how wonderful is that? A country that unilaterally attacks another country has now suddenly become the good Samaritan. Actually, I think Mr. Trump is quite desperate to end the war because it's proving to be very costly for him in terms of aircraft being destroyed, etc., and the danger of a lot of American personnel coming in harm's way. And this is what is going on. While, of course, they must have mercilessly bombed places in Iran and managed to kill some civilians, that is just necessary collateral for them. And of course, the rogue state Israel does the same. And what was eye popping for me, especially, was the new YouTube video by journalist Abby Martin of Double Down News. My viewers should check her out. It's quite an amazing video. She was in Israel in 2016 and I believe recently. And her live interviews with people on the street, ordinary Israelis, from an old woman to young girls to fairly young men, reveal an outstanding racist, fascist type of viewpoint where these people feel they are the chosen few, that is, these Israelis, and it is quite an apartheid system that they have in place. I believe they treat Ethiopian Jews and African Jews in a different way. I mean, they are less than them. And I feel sorry for the Indian workers who have gone there to Israel. I mean, that is quite a wrong move, in my opinion. So, all in all, quite an eye opening view. My viewers should check it out. Great reporting by a great lady. And it is strange, to say the least, to see a white journalist, so to speak, so thoroughly critical of the country called Israel, whom she describes as a racist, fascist state. Those are her words, not mine. But I always felt long before that Israel was operating in that way when South Africa was one of the first countries to speak out against Israel and its unilateral bombing campaign in the Gaza. Gaza has been reduced to rubble, basically. And Iranians have been on the way to do that in Tel Aviv, etc. So the current standoff or ceasefire, who knows whether it will hold, is a good sign towards peace. If we can have peace in the region, nothing like that. But who knows where the chips will fall because you're dealing with an unhinged president. Not my words, but the words of American commentators, Tom Harden, etc. And why do they call him unhinged? Because he says something today and tomorrow morning he might change his mind. So, not a reliable person exactly to have an agreement with. And my feeling is that if he has reached an agreement, that is uh, probably with the thinking that's going behind the scenes. His team apparently thinks it's a good idea to have the peace deal. And There may be some trade offs or some rip offs between themselves. And that is the reason we have this peace deal going on. And in the rest of the world, news is happening. China and Russia had vetoed a resolution in the UN to which was attacking Iran, and there have been more attacks by Iran on the largest oil refinery in Saudi Arabia, the Aramco, and I believe Saudi Arabia has had to close it down. While Iran has been bombed by the US, a lot of other bridges, petrochemical units, etc., universities, those are the kind of targets the Americans have uh, bombed. And the Israelis also have bombed similar targets there in uh, Iran, including railway stations, etc. Apparently, railway stations are used by the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guards of Iran, so we must bomb them. But what about the ordinary people who use railway stations? So that is the Israeli logic anyway. It's a racist, fascist logic. And if you see Abby Martin's video, you will be left speechless to see an old Israeli woman say that she doesn't mind if the kids in Gaza are killed, and some Johnny on the street wants them all dead. I mean, what do you make of it? I mean, it is pure fascism, pure racism at its best. And I do remember the interview that Dan Blazarian had, who's an American playboy, he had with Piers Morgan. And it was very weird, to say the least, to see this guy come out flat out against the Israeli viewpoint. He called them racist, fascist, etc., and said that they believe they are the chosen few, and the Talmud tells them that, etc. And that is the view I had, especially when I met some Israelis in the United States. They all had a kind of weird talking way of talking, as if you were not to be trusted. If you were a brown face, you were probably immediately labeled as Muslim or something, whatever. And that's the way they behave. That is the country they have. And of course, while commentators are saying that Israel will not last long, I don't know. At least at this juncture, this rogue nation has the backing of another rogue nation, the USA. Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to call the US a rogue nation because under Trump, that is what it is, uh, a country that lacks any kind of moral convictions, because that is how its leader is anyway, transactional, bankrupt guy and a criminal guy, basically. So you get what you voted for. And mood in America, of course, is now to vote him out. I don't know how they would ever achieve that, because under American law, if you want to use the 25th Amendment, you have to have both of the houses on board. The Democrats, I can guarantee you, they want him out. The Republicans, not so fast, because Republicans are looking at their own power, and that's the way it goes. So let us see what more Mr. Trump can do. He has already caused severe pain in the American economy. The gas prices are up. That is the petrol prices, which hurt the ordinary American family the most, because if an ordinary American family has to pay more for gas, then everything goes up, all the grocery items, every other item, and not to speak of the gas which they put in their cars. So currently, the gas or petrol, as we would call it in India, is about $4 a gallon, which is quite high for USA. and in LA area, etc. So it remains to be seen. And Trump has cut all the benefits that are given to poor people and medical benefits, etc., while he's heaped big tax cuts on the super wealthy. That is his focus of life because he lives in an alternate universe. Anyway, thank you for watching. We are in a weather changing India just now. It's still relatively cool, but they say hot weather is upon us. And the latest weather forecast is it's going to be a monsoon deficient year, which is terrible because I love the sound of rain and I love the sound of lots of rain. So I hope they are wrong in the weather forecast. That is where we are. And in the Indian news, EV car sales are up, and the SEBI market regulator has given corporate India more time to get their funds together or withdraw from the market. Two local liquor companies are having a fight, Devons and Cartel, over a brand name called Godfather. Devons has marketed Godfather beer for ages, and Cartel wants to market it as a whiskey. So that is what is going on. Such interesting times if you're drinking beer or whiskey. Have a great day, sir, and subscribe by the billions.